Warning, may cause extreme student engagement.
Welcome to the Digital Dish,
your go-to podcast for all things tech and education. Well, hello, everybody.
Welcome back to the Digital Dish.
I surprised Allie with that one. You should have seen her face. Her eyes got all big, like, what are you doing?
Well, I'm Allie, and I'm going to continue with my weird deal maker in your ed tech coach.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. And I'm Katie. I am an unofficial dog sitter and...
You're director, right?
So many. Yeah, I'm a director of technology at West Hill CSD.
So we're recording this early because of the long weekend and some plans. And
I'm going to be on a beach somewhere in Florida.
Good for you.
Next week.
Good for you. Lots of sunscreen.
Yeah. Yes. Don't want to burn. Don't want to get skin cancer.
No, that would be really bad.
Yeah.
Like really, really bad.
So we're recording a little bit early.
Yep. So, yeah. But anyway, so whose dog were you sitting?
Oh my gosh. So my mom and dad were away for I don't know how long, 5 days, let's say. My mom's gonna kill me because I don't know. Anyway, and they have a 1-year-old mini doodle, Bailey. She's nuts, but as most puppies are nuts, like she's a little over 1. She's nuts, but she's a very sweet dog. But she's my dog's cut in half, and 10 times more energy.
Oh boy!
So I can't do all 3 dogs for a long period of time. But the lady that was watching her basically fired herself the day before my parents were scheduled to come back. And I was like, well, why don't I just go get her? Because, I don't know, this lady's giving me weird vibes. I'd rather know that Bailey's in good hands because I'm a huge animal lover. And, I don't know. I love dogs so much. So I'm like, I'll just, go pick her up. So I went to pick her up, and she was nuts. Excited to see me. I think she was relieved. I could tell she was very relieved to see me. Brought her to my house, and this was insane. I took all 3 of them for a walk. And so my older one, Charlie, he was an only child for 5 years. So he's used to walking on the grass during the walk on the left side because we face traffic people.
Right, that makes
when we're
sense.
Walking.
Yep.
And when Max came along 5 years later, he's now 5. He got used to walking next to Charlie. And, they do their business as they need to, and they both sniff. But he'll walk on the street. So putting a third dog into that with one person, one focal point, let's say.
Boy.
And who's an only child and who's a puppy.
Yep.
So she has to be in the grass, and she's sniffing everything. So Charlie's getting annoyed that she is next to him, and so he keeps dead stopping and letting her pass so that he can get on the outside in the grass. And then their leashes get all tangled and twisted and twirled, and I only have 2 hands. It is literally insane. I did that 3 times while she was with me.
Oh.
But after the walk, I brought them back to the house, and I think it stopped raining at some point Sunday evening, and I brought them all outside to make sure she used the bathroom. And, of course, the 5 minutes into being all in the backyard, we have a fenced-in yard. It's big. It's great. The baby birds decide to leave the nest.
Oh, no.
In that moment. And I realized something's going on. And so I see them going after a baby bird in the corner. I'm screaming my head off like a crazy person, yelling at them to get inside. I think the bird's okay. It's gone now. And it was on its back, so I propped it back up and then it was gone. So I'm hoping that another predator didn't get it, of all that work that I did to save the freaking thing. And now we still have one who is sitting on the planter off and on. I put some water out for it because, dehydration for baby animals is really...
It's big, yeah.
It's big. But now I can't let the dogs out. Every time I have to go check the yard. But it was insane. It was an insane evening of dogs. It was insane.
It sounds it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what is this weird thing you've got going on?
So
What is that weird deal maker?
yeah, I'm a weird deal maker, which I'm weird anyway, and I wear it like a proud badge. It's fine. So I've been in martial arts for a long time. Ooh, we're in the middle of a school building.
Yeah.
And my niece has also been in karate for a long time now. Well, it's hard for younger kids to do something like that because first you're like growing and it's really fast and you're getting all these really cool things and it's really again really fast but now she's to the point where it's a lot of work and like you got to keep going and keep going and keep going. And so it was probably about a year ago. She was in one of her slumps and I was like, look, I'll make you a deal. And she was like, okay, because you never quite know. Like she's my girl, but like you never
How old
quite
is she
know.
again?
She's 11 now.
Okay.
So she'll be 12 in August. And she's getting so close to getting her black belt. So close. So I was like, look, you love Wicked and you want the Squishmallows, the Glinda and Alphaba Squishmallows. And she's like, I do. I was like, well, okay. If you get your black belt before I can get mine, because I had to start over again, then I will get you the Squishmallows. But if I get my black belt before you, then you have to get me the Squishmallows. And she was like, that's a deal. So that's been like her focal point. And she specifically called me last night while I was on break from Michael's. And she was like, I get to test in October for my black belt. Guess what you have to give me? I was like, what do you mean? So she's like, we made a deal. I'm going to hold you to it. So, and again, she's 11. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
but just getting her to that point, like if that's the thing, I am totally down for making those weird deals.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
let's
Wheeling
go.
and dealing with an 11-year-old.
And I will own it, and I'm okay with it. My sister will end up with 2 more Squishmallows. So
Yeah, they're so nice to lay on though. The big
They
ones.
are.
Oh, they're so. My daughter has a bunch of them on her bed, so anytime I go in and hang out with her, I'm laying on Pokemon Pikachu Squishmallow.
it's just awesome, and if it's something that she really loves. Like she's still like I want to be a kid, but I'm growing up,
Yeah,
and
so cute.
so it's kind of like a weird age, but she absolutely loves it, and that's one movie that she adores. That's one of my favorite musicals. So I was like, I will make that deal. I am totally okay with that.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm a weird
Nice.
deal maker.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
We did the bubble run on Sunday.
Ooh,
Do you know about this?
very little.
Paint Westvale Purple is a kids fun run, a kids bubble 1 mile run, and then a 5K. In the last couple of years, we haven't done the 5K. We've just done the bubble run with Vince's granddaughter, well, also my granddaughter, and my sister and my niece and nephew. And they're a little bit older this year, so they had a blast. Like it was just so much fun. We all had the shirt, and
Yay.
it was so fun. We had such a good time. So that was
That's
another
awesome.
highlight.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So lots of fun stuff on your plate.
And I made my best sourdough loaf and my best focaccia on Sunday
Yay.
too. Yeah. Yeah, I changed the ratios just a little bit.
That's awesome.
Science.
That's where it's at.
So what are we going to be playing for the people?
So we are actually going to be playing part 2 of our interview with Dr. Laird, and she's the speaker from
A few weeks ago.
from a few weeks ago, talking all about AI and how to use it in the classroom, primary and secondary and post-secondary and things like that. So yeah,
Awesome.
enjoy,
All right.
guys.
Enjoy.
One of the funnier questions that I kind of wanted to ask was, what is the funniest thing that you have ever put into an AI generator, like Gemini or ChatGPT we've all
Like,
put in
what
the
do you-
funny stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I think like the funniest things are the stuff where you give it something and you want it to be funny, but it's absolutely like cringy and stupid. But I guess like, you know, it's so hard. I do get asked that a lot, or like bloopers that I've had, and there have been some. I think it's like, for me, it's always the most embarrassing stuff that I've done, where like I give it, like sometimes I use AI as like a therapist, and I say that very loosely because this is like therapy, like inside the mind of a like slightly unhinged, overworked, tired mom. And so sometimes I've given it like the 2 a.m. like temporary chats on like, I don't know, just like doom scrolly, like tinfoil hat nonsense, and the AI is sometimes like, yeah, you should just get some sleep. Like, like even when like ChatGPT is like, yeah, this is getting strange. You should probably just take a nap. Like, I'm like, oh, all right. So I think it's more like when I get called out by AI and I have to like assess that like a machine just told me like this is getting weird, lady. Like, that's it. I don't know.
I think my favorite thing that I put into Gemini was my bowling team's name.
Oh, that was funny.
What was it? And what did you get?
I got a lot of. So I'm not very good at puns, but I love puns. But the team name that we landed on was the Gutterati.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would never
chill.
have come up with that on my own.
But it was really funny, like putting it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got some good
You
ones.
get some really good stuff, some really cringy stuff. I love when I give it like I need an interesting name for like a title for like the podcast, and then I like try to like play thought, back and forth with it. And I love when it and I have the same idea, and I'm like, oh, you know me so well, like yay.
Well, that's how we came up with our name.
Yeah, that's exactly how for the digital dish.
We workshopped it with Gemini, like the three of us.
Oh, perfect.
Workshopped it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's what you need. Yeah, you just need a thought partner on
absolutely.
it sometimes. Yeah.
Well, and that's what we're trying to stress a lot with our teachers that we work with, is that using it as a thought partner and having your students use it as a thought partner to kind of help just bring our brains back together.
100%. Yeah. I mean, that's like the biggest flaw I see people using AI with, in whether it's industry, higher ed, K through 12. So we're all subject matter experts of something, and people will tend to go to AI and ask it things that they are the subject matter expert of.
Oh, like they already
And you're
know.
like, that's probably not the place to start.
That's
Because like if you're an
interesting.
expert social media manager, like you could write a LinkedIn, a Facebook, a tweet, whatever, like with the back of your hand, and you go to AI and ask it to write a tweet about this, you're going to hate it because it's going to be terrible. Because like you just know better. And it's not the place to start. I always say like, we wear so many hats at work. We all wear all these hats. In America, that's like this thing. Like, and we're like proud of it. Like, I wear like 14 hats at work. And you're like, oh, cool. I wear like 80. And like, it's a brag. And you're like, oh, it's a weird flex. But what we often do is we wear hats we were never meant to wear and we have no business wearing. And sometimes that's the stuff that I'm like, maybe try outsourcing that to AI because it might have a better scope of how you'd approach that than you would because you were just like gifted this job. Now more than ever, people are being like just gifted things that have fallen off or we've lost people due to budget or whatever it might be. So it's where like that has to step in and help and but ways it can that you just don't have the background in.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, I'm just looking at my question list real quick.
Oh no, do your thing. I'm just hanging out.
So with us being a K-12 district, or pre-K-12 district rather, how would you suggest that educators prepare students for a future where AI is increasingly prevalent in the workforce?
Yeah, I think that entering AI into an education system is such an intense double-edged sword because we have to be so mindful of teaching students how to use it effectively but critically. But then at the same time, it's running parallel with this idea that foundational knowledge cannot be lost to a foundational model. And I say that a lot, but it's so much about being transparent. I work with every program in our university, so it's just such a diverse range. I also get to consult across our UW system, and there's just such a broad use case. But when the chips fall, we really need to focus on the aspect of critical thinking and effective evaluation. And like people miss that too, like prompting and working with a chatbot, whatever your flavor is, right? ChatGPT, Microsoft's Copilot, Claude, Mistral, Gemini. You really have to use this like input, output, review, revise. Like the review, revise is so critical because I don't know about you guys, but for me, I can never usually get everything right on the first go, which is the initial like input. You have to continuously review and revise And that's that sweet spot that I think like students and educators need to really hit on is the review is so critical. And that's the part where we can assess knowledge gaps in students as well. Because if they don't catch something, they don't catch that the AI missed something, that there was a bias included, that a statistic was wrong, they're not using that critical thinking and foundational knowledge that they should have built. So it's this really intense balancing act. The problem is AI literacy is not uniform across the board right now. I've been so many I've been in so many conversations about that. I've talked in front of our state legislator about it. I've worked with other states' governments about it, other states like school boards, and uh, it's hard because AI literacy means different things to different people in different spaces. But we all have to now come to the table and find some common ground and make sure that our faculty or our K through 12 instructors have that support and those resources to really make sure that they understand. Oftentimes I find like folks that don't understand AI or are scared of AI, they've just never like used it, and you can't best represent it to students or other colleagues if you don't yourself use it and figure it out. So it's just getting hands-on with the tools, which just takes time and sometimes a little nudging. Like everyone gets there in their own time.
Absolutely. And I find that a lot of teachers, I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but I find that a lot of teachers are having a hard time trying it without actually understanding it and almost afraid to fail. And so one of the first things that I always tell the groups that I work with is don't be afraid to get it wrong on the first try. I don't get it right on the first try. So, I mean, and like last time I actually said that, like I could see everybody's shoulders go up and I'm like, guys, it's okay. It's okay. It's education. Like we're good. It's just, at least that's what I'm finding.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Is that same for both of you?
Yeah, I think there's like a fear. A teacher made a comment to me recently that said, like, I really didn't get much out of it when I put something in. And I said, well, what did I say to him? Drawing a blank. I was like, I think that's okay at first, but maybe it's what you're putting in. Like it's the same as when I Google something and my mom Googles something, we come up with something completely different. Same topic, different results, different prompt. So I think what you said earlier about revising your prompt, like reviewing and revising, and how it's like this loop that you're going to do. I think that's something that we need to reiterate here when we were working with our teachers. Like, yeah, you might not get anything the first try, but take a look in the results versus what you asked it and then go from there.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. Sometimes I use the analogy it's like building a shopping list, like your grocery list, right? So like every weekend I'm a busy mom, right? I have like 5 jobs. Like I literally just throughout the week I'm throwing stuff into a Walmart pickup order, and you always forget something, right? Like because you can never remember all the nuances. You don't always remember. So like I think about this in like the form of prompting. I'll tell people like you put your initial prompt in, and one, you already have this kind of like biased tunnel vision of whatever you kind of want to focus on or think about. You're not thinking about all the nuances. You're not thinking about, so going back to your grocery list, you're not thinking about like your husband's gluten-free, your daughter's decided she only eats rice now, or like she doesn't eat the things she used to eat, right? So like your grocery list is already evolving and changing. Then your husband midweek thinks he's lactose intolerant now. So you're like, okay, now I got to like put lactate in the cart. Like it's a whole thing. Like your prompt is always changing and evolving, because we are just not going to think about everything we need that first time through when we make our grocery list or when we prompt. So like that reviewing and revising is so great. One thing AIs are so good at, I always think, is seeing such a bigger scope of the project than we as humans do, because we have such a narrow like gap of our focus and our subject matter expertness that's like going into something. We're not going to always think about the outliers of the other stakeholders that are misrepresented or just are mildly represented, so they're kind of forgetful to us. But that's where I think AI comes in really smooth, is that like it just sees the full landscape in such a thorough way.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Do you have any more questions?
I do not.
I don't have any more questions either. Do you have any
That's
questions
it?
for us? Yeah, like
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
very.
It's a short.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually try
Oh
to
no.
keep it around 20 minutes.
That's awesome.
But if you had anything else that you like we didn't talk about that you would like to put out in the ether.
I mean, no, I mean, it's fine. I was curious for both of you, like, how is your space adopting AI and what are some of the challenges you've seen in your environment?
We're working on it.
Yeah. So uh I've,
Fair.
I've I've been doing professional development for a long time and also like at conferences speaking and providing sessions to people that I
Yeah.
may or may not know for a while. And I think that comes from being a teacher, first. But there's always like the rule of the thirds. You've got your people that are ready to go and can do it without you. And then you've got your people that are willing to try it but need some more support. And then you've got your bottom third of people that like don't want anything to do with you. And
Yeah.
so our goal is to try to move the needle so it's instead of it the rule of the thirds, it would be like 1/2, 1/4, 1/4, or
Okay.
like growing capacity within our teachers and our teacher leaders. And so at the high school level, mostly we've done work there we started with teachers using it for themselves, and now we're working on, okay, so let's see how we can use it in the classroom with the students, as
Yeah.
brainstormers, as collaborators, and especially for differentiating education and instruction. One of the things that we found very helpful is Notebook LM, and the teacher can put in all the material for the unit, create a podcast from that, and have kids who really struggle in that subject area listen to it ahead of time to preview the content in a way
Yeah.
that they can understand, and then when they walk into the classroom they feel a little more confident. So we're working on those kinds of things, little by little. It's an uphill battle sometimes, but
Yeah.
I shouldn't say battle. It's like an uphill
Game.
game.
Is it?
Great project.
Yeah. No, that's great. And that's the thing I love so much about like all the AI tools that are coming out is they create opportunities for so many of us to learn in ways that actually help us. Like I was never like a book learner. Like I'm a visual learner. Like I can be an audible learner too. Like I want to hear things, but I want to see like the visuals and understand them. And some of the things I've seen coming out as products that I know like people are working on, or venture capitalist groups that I work with get to invest in, are these textbooks that are way more interactive, that if you don't understand it, it could like digitally create a video to help you better understand. And like that's what I love about this new space and this new landscape, is this idea that like education becomes more equitable when everyone can learn how they were meant to.
Yeah.
And that's so cool. And like it just opens the gates for, I mean, I think people get really fearful that AI is going to strip us of like our knowledge and our ability to learn and grow as a society. But I truly think if used correctly, we could have people who now think about people who are brilliant scientists, right? They know science like the back of their hand, but they can't write effectively to really detail those findings or what they feel they could discover if they were given certain grants or funding. But with AI tools, now they're master writers as well. And so you've really accelerated someone's knowledge and then moved it into another space where they're not as comfortable, but you've moved it there as well paralleled. So it's just creating people who are more balanced across the board because these tools work as a support system. And I love that. Like that's so great for everybody.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. 100%. And just getting in front of more teachers, I think, is
Yeah.
being very helpful. So I have the opportunity to work with teachers across the region as well. So it's, going into all the PD or having their or their coach offer me a spot in just to like 10 minutes, like, hey, what do you want to talk about? That's going to help us kind of drive the instruction and education and things like that. So it's definitely just getting the word out, walking people through it, talking to people, getting in front of them.
No, that's awesome. The fact that you're doing that work, like I'm such a believer in AI literacy. Like my podcast, as you both know, it's free, it's adless. Like the whole intent was like, this needs to just get to people, and people like you, like in the education space, who are teachers, and you can just get up in front of people and be confident and comfortable. That's what we need. We just need leaders in this space who can just do this, because it's going to become a universal necessity, and we just need people to champion this and help move it forward.
Yeah, 100. Totally agree.
Absolutely. It was funny. So I was having a conversation with my boyfriend who runs a Five Below here in New York, and he
Hells yeah.
was doing staff evaluations, and he's like, how do I reword this so that way it's more of a positive spin? I was like, I don't know. I'm not the writer, but let's plug it into AI and see what it can come out with. And he's like, AI can do that? I was like, absolutely, it can do that.
Yeah. It's amazing how I have the pleasure of going and working with a lot of different industries in a consulting space. And it's fascinating when I have people email or call me and they're like, we introduced, you came in and introduced it to our engineers or our IT department. And now they're all obsessed, and they like have to run everything through it before they do things, just to see if it gets it right, or to see like troubleshooting. And like, those are the types of things that are so fun to watch people like have their mind continuously blown by what it can support and help them with. And we all need that, right? We talked about mentors at the start. We all need that, but we all need like these little assistants that help us through our day, because sometimes it's a lot, and it's a lot to think through, and you just need that support system without it always being a colleague or a manager.
Mm-hmm.
I have one more thing that I want to hear from you about, because it's something that I've come across a few times in conversations with people.
Is it your sourdough stuff?
No.
Oh God, I don't make bread. I'll tell you what.
No, it's still on the topic of AI.
It's still on the topic. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a question.
Yeah.
All right.
So, one of the things that we discussed right when ChatGPT first came out and it was like blowing up, and I was talking to teachers about it, we're having meetings about what this might do to education, was that, and one thing I said this, that, as adults, it's very helpful for us because we already know the rules. We already know the rules of language, the rules of research. We already know all these things because we've been through school and learned these things, grammar, whatever. We know, we had to go through all of that. And the kids that haven't gone through all of that yet, do they have enough understanding and information already to be able to use AI effectively? Or are we hurting them by giving them a crutch early on when they haven't learned, quote unquote, the rules? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to communication.
Sure. And we deal with that in higher ed as well, because our students come in and they're not all stellar writers. Most of them are not, and that's okay. I guess I've looked at it two ways. One way is, if a student is not a confident writer and not a comfortable writer, the idea of them working with an AI tool, and when I say working with, I mean it's not doing the work for them. They're doing the whole, like, they're putting in their thoughts. And maybe it's not that they're sitting and typing in their thoughts, but maybe they're sitting in front of their ChatGPT, let's just say, and they're using dictation and they're talking aloud of their thoughts or the work that they've done or the research they've done, whatever it might be, on whatever topic. Photosynthesis. We all had to learn that endless amounts of times throughout school. So they're going to write a report on photosynthesis, right? And so they sit and they walk through the different parameters of it, and ChatGPT or whatever it might be writes a first draft for them, which they then edit and revise and work with. Does it teach them to be a better writer? I argue that it does, because they start to learn how to effectively take their thoughts and now communicate them out structurally. This would involve some time and practice and patience, but I do think it has its benefits. I do think there's people in our society that just are not writers. They would not identify as someone who could write well or write effectively. They can't get their thoughts across. I mean, I work with PhD level adults who will say to me, they're just not writers. They just can't get their thoughts across effectively. So I think with the utilization of those tools, it can benefit people. But no, students, younger students, even our college level students, are not always innately good writers, but that's okay. I think we now have a tool that's going to help people become better writers, or it does the writing for them, which is not always ideal. But in life, we could look at all the different tools that we farmed out knowledge to, like a calculator, where we're not doing advanced mathematics. We're just having a T1 do it or a basic calculator do it. I mean, most of us do it. So it has to be a balance. We have to rest on those foundationals, like I said, and it has to come in as a tool, not just something that does the work for them. But that's where the literacy comes in. That's where the educators come in. And that's the best I can give on that. But certainly I would also say, I think like K through 12 folks focused more on English and writing would probably have better answers to that than I.
Yeah, I think that's a big worry among the younger grade levels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we haven't taught them how to write a thesis, why would we let them use AI to write it for them, I guess? Because they haven't learned the rules, I guess. You know what I mean?
100%.
So,
Yeah.
Not that they have to be good at it, because I wasn't good at it either.
Yeah. I mean, no, I think more to come on that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so interesting how rapidly all of this changes and how adoption is so different in different spaces and places. It will be, I mean, there will be research papers written about this for eons. Like, we will learn so much about ourselves. The interesting thing that I always talk about with the higher education space is that give it 4 years, and any students that we're bringing in, it's probably more like a year or two. Any students that we're bringing into the higher education landscape are AI natives at this point. Like, they're so innate to having AI on their phones. So, like, ChatGPT is the most downloaded app globally. I feel like everyone has it at this point. Or they have these AI assistants in other spaces like Snapchat and social media channels. Like, it will just be so innate that they have this that no one will even think about it generations from now.
Kind of like we don't think about Wi-Fi anymore. It's just pervasive.
It's just there.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Well, this has been thought-provoking.
I certainly hope it hasn't been boring for you.
No, not in the slightest. No way. It hasn't. It's always so interesting when you can take the time to sit and really reflect on some of these tough questions, because there is no one right answer. There's no one size fits all. I say that to every company or higher education space I go in, because, like, we want to be doing AI. And I'm like, that's great. There's no one size fits all. And that means many different things to many different spaces and places.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to have to be the same in any environment. It will mean different things to different students, to different classes, to different educators, to different whatever. It's just, it's not uniform.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true.
Awesome. I love that. Well, thank you again so much.
Thank you
for sitting down with us. We really do appreciate it.
Anytime. I love it. All right. Have a good rest of your day.
All right.
You too.
Take care. Thanks.
Bye. Thanks for listening, everybody. We hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. And see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.